That's the amazing thing about hybrids, right? You start the car, there's no sound. You roll off, there's no sound. This smooth experience. Yeah, it's worth experiencing. Alright, morning drive. It's really crazy when you have a car where the suspension can take everything that you throw at it, right? You can just cover ground in such a pace that in other cars you need to slow down, you need to judge your suspension, you need to, you know, just basically ease with it and then you accelerate again. This one is just, you're just bombing through everything. Seriously, all these new cars, right, they have suspension, right? I mean, especially from BMW. I mean, bar the 330i M Sport. See, this is the type of suspension we want, you know. Superbly pliant, absorbs everything, and yet gives the confidence when you corner. Not just bobbing you around and just, you know, rebounding everywhere. Yeah, this is the type we want. Brilliant suspension, brilliant gearing, and of course with the assist of the hybrid motor, it is really, really nice. It gives so much confidence when you are putting the car into a corner. The suspension just sits there, and then the drivetrain combination just knows what it is doing. Hold this gear. It's just so rapid. The hesitation it removes the hesitation of acceleration. You know, you dare to do it solely because you know the car can, and this ability just allows you to cover ground at such immense speeds by removing the worries. You don't need outright ton of power. You just need to give the confidence to the drivers. Yeah.
When I switched to Pro mileage, in my case, I got 46-47% of savings for that car.
Pro mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper, a lot less. A lot. Turn up!
There I am. Am I a bit early? Oh, there's Baldwin. Yeah. Tell you what, a car with a great suspension just is so brilliant to drive. Oh dear. It's yet another car that I can't fault. The seating position is perfect. The soundproofing is perfect. The handling, the dynamics of the car, and the comfort. I'm now in sport individual, right? Even if I go back to adaptive, the normal mode, it is still a very pliant car to drive. The best part is that the work they have put into these suspensions and the way the chassis dynamics work is that everything is under control. Be it the undulations or the expansion joints, be it the bad roads or whatnot, everything is within the expectation of the car on how it has been tuned or calibrated for our roads. Now, the question comes, of course, hybrid. Again, if you're someone who is pushing your absolute limits to get your dream 5 Series, on a 9-year loan and whatnot, then perhaps it is a car that you want to keep for a very, very long time, right? But that's not the core segment of this car. The core segment of this car are business people, high-ranking executives, where they buy a 5 Series just as though they buy their Civics or their Camrys, right? Every 5 years, they own the car, they end the warranty, they trade the car in, and then they go for another one, right? On that respect, you can absolutely go for the 530e, the hybrid, because it provides you a good glimpse into 21st century motoring. Morning I walk towards the car, the car unlocks itself, and then I drop myself in, press the start button, and nothing. It was quiet. It is quiet, and then I just drive, and it's quiet, rolling with the electric motors, and there are no vibrations, no sound, nothing. It's just a soothing experience. It is when you're rolling out from your car park, right? Is as quiet, if not just as a Rolls Royce in a way, because you don't feel anything, and that gives you a kind of futuristic vibe, right? Of course, I don't fancy that weird sound, that weird spaceship sound that it makes when you press the start button, but I'm sure, given that this is BMW, there's a way to switch it off, right? And after that, it's just a very, very cosseting ride. The seats are great, the touch points. Okay, there are still some drawbacks with how BMW judge their compartment spaces, right? Because the wireless charger couldn't fit my Samsung Note 10. If you couldn't fit the Note 10, you wouldn't be able to fit the Note 9. And if you couldn't fit a Note 9, then people will be asking, that's an Aston. Did you benchmark all the popular high-end phones? Did you? And if you did not, and then the cup holders, right? I remember this was it's still, the cup holders are strictly cup holders, and I reckon a lot of cups won't fit into the cup holders because they are shallow. So they are like this shallow, and they are really small. So it would fit your Coca-Cola can perfectly. But if you have a Starbucks, which one is bigger, Grande or Venti? I have no idea. Starbucks, which is the bigger one. You know how the cups tapered down? Yeah, imagine your really tall cup, and then so we have to put our stuffs in the door pocket. And then the door pocket, they narrow the opening towards And anyway, I'll do the walk around and tell you about all this, but this is just what I feel when I'm driving it. Overall, it's still a fantastic car. It is not as futuristic or as hotel lobby looking like an E-Class. The E-Class, in terms of design, is easily 2 segments up. You know, it uses the kind of design that Bentley would, right? But there's something about using those kind of designs and not using that type of material usually used for that kind of design. And if you don't use that, the perceived value, the perceived quality levels would have a mismatch. You get what I mean? If something looks like a plastic and it's made of plastic, you're fine, right? But if it looks like a woodwork and it's plastic, then you're not happy with it. So there is a certain that aspect of judgment when I look at the Mercedes E-Class interior design, right? Because the materials that was used to build that would be no different to this, right? But that car looks like a Bentley to begin with, and you expect that kind of quality, all right? Anyway, nothing to fault in the drive, seriously. This is the type of suspension we want, BMW, not your 330i suspension, right? This is the type of suspension that you can do daily, you can do mountain road, you can do comfort, and you can do confidence-inspiring handling. Basically, you bomb the car through whatever roads that takes it, and the suspension of the car settles so easily that it gives you a very good gauge to judge how your car is doing. And from there, you extract your own performance from the car. Alright, let's go do my walk around review of the new BMW 530e. The facelift. Alright. And once again, I'm here at KLGCC Resorts. This place houses one of the world's best golf course, and KLGCC is one of the most prestigious golf club. This is the road to it. That's the sales gallery. That's where we always film our walk around videos and we do our B-rolls. That's the clubhouse, and this is actually the golf course. The golfers are already here. That's the driving range, and the clubhouse has a lot of facilities. It's one of the most expensive clubhouse here in Malaysia, but it's also one of the best maintained, one of the most prestigious. Kuala Lumpur Golf and Country Club by Sime Darby Property. This is also where Evo Club members, now it's 6, not just 5, 6 units were bought up by Evo Club members, and out of Horizon team, 3 of us bought the residence called Jendela in KLGCC Resorts, because it is, in my opinion, one of the best buys now because of this premium location. This location is housed right in between the luxurious triangle of Mont Kiara, Sri Hatamas, Bukit Damansara, Taman Tun, right? What can you ask for? And the prices starts at about 850 or 850 plus per square foot. So what that means is that a similar size of this brand new Jendela costs roughly that of a 25-year-old residence condo in Taman Tun. Why not? So that's why we went in, and moreover, we get a 10-year free club membership from KLGCC. Alright? And this place is just beautiful, beautiful. Park the car nicely. All the reverse camera of this car is one of, if not the best. Alright. Do this and then I'll do that. So the car looks more stylish. Yep. So good. Perfect. Alright, let's do the walk around. Good morning here from KL GCC Resorts, and here we have the brand new 530e. Yes, the facelift version of the BMW 5 Series. Now this video is supported by Jandela Residences of KL GCC Resorts, and thank you so much. And now we can begin the review. Alright, this car has arrived for some time. I've seen quite a few of them on the road. Finally, I have a chance to drive it. Alright, now the most notable differences on the new 5 Series are the headlights. Basically the front assembly. So they have cleaned up the lines, and there is a very distinctive line that comes down here all the way, forming the intakes, the lower intakes, and all the way up towards the other side. I think this treatment is really nice because it is sort of in between the body line that goes all the way to the rear, and also the bonnet opening line. So they don't need to do sophisticated stamping to have an absolute tight bonnet line to form it with the body line, just like what Audi did, but they reach the same effect, and is exacerbated with this new treatment of BMW's classic daytime running lights. So in a way, BMW sort of ditched their angel eyes. You know, they came from angel eyes, the rounded ones, to a bit hexagonal shape, and then they further straighten up the shapes, and now it's just two L motifs. Alright, and these are LEDs, of course. Here we have the wheels, diamond cut, two-tone, black inside, and polish silver brush metal kind of finish outside. Very popular treatment to modern wheels, I would say. And these are shotted with Bridgestones. Not a common choice for German cars, you know. A lot of times they go with Michelins or Continentals, right? And this car actually unlocks when I get near. When it senses the key, you don't even need to touch the door handles, they will just unlock by itself. And these are the charging ports, because this is a 530e M Sport variant. You have the M Sport calipers, M Sport wheels, but what is great is that it doesn't have that super hard 330i M Sport suspension. You know, it is still with the lovely adaptive suspension that the 5 Series always have, and it soaks up all the bumps and all that. Towards the rear, you can see a new tail light treatment as well. They are now 3D in a way. They call it 3D because you see there is a distinct shape to it, and they give the light not just a flat 2D surface, but when it lights up at night, there is a very, can I say organic, but because it bulges out the lighting surfaces, you know, so it gives it a very physical, very 3D kind of effect, right? 530e. And this car has stood the test of time because It's out there for a while now. These side blades channels air out from the wheel well, reduces the pressure in there, reduces the turbulence, right? Overall, it's a very clean design. It's as though BMW is cleaning up their flame surfacing and going a little bit Audi in that way, right? So less organic lines, more straight cut lines. All right, one thing I really like about it is the surfacing is still there, subtle in a way. And this is actually a very, very dark blue, right? It is not, yeah, you see me walking near and far, and then you see the car unlocking and locking itself. Well, that's just technology, right? Yep, it is a dark blue. Under bright sunlight, you see a tinge of blue shining out. But it's also, sorry, it's also a very good color to hide your dirt in a way. All right. So the grills are huge, proud, and I think it is just about the correct size. All right, here you can see houses the cameras over here. All right, yep, and you can see it shut off here. It will open up when it needs more air. It will close when it doesn't need extra cooling, which aids the aerodynamics and reduces fuel consumption. All right, let's go into the driver's seats. I think this specification is perfect. This brown leather, cream brownish kind of leather matched with the black interior is a really nice combination. And of course the inlays, this material is textured. You can feel the patterns here. It's a very nice touch. Fit and finish is excellent, just like all modern BMWs. Everything is just so well fitted. It is of good material quality, solid, you know, nice to the touch, almost on every surface, every button. Okay, here you have the seat memory controls. They used to be there for BMW, but then now it's over here. It's all right. These are the window buttons. All right, you can control the blinds at the back. You can switch off the rear windows so that your kids and all. And then here you have what controls the side mirrors, one button to fold them in when you need to, and then the boot release and the fuel cap release. That's the bonnet release. And here are the assemblies for the light cluster, basically your parking lights, the brightness of your HUD, automatic, you know, or daytime, or just straight up off it, fog lamps, all of them are here. Very easy to control. These seats are not the highest spec seats, but I think it's acceptable. You can at least change how much the wings grip your body, and the seat base and the seat and the shape, everything is just perfect. All right, and this one is independent as well. You can extend it, which I usually do when I drive, especially long distance. And these materials are also really nice. These brush metal satin chrome parts are really good. This whole piece, this single piece, goes all the way there, and there's a lot of daytime running light stuff. You can change the colors. All right, one thing nice about BMW is even if you don't get those Harman Kardon or Bowers and Wilkins spec sound system, their stock speakers are great. All right, they always manage to have they put emphasis to it. Okay, that sound that you heard is, you know, telling you that, oh, you're driving something different, something from the future. That's the Idrive. Now this car is a plug-in hybrid, so you can actually go home, plug it into your charger, and then charge it up fully. As you can see, mine here has fully depleted. You can charge it up fully, and then you easily get 20-30 kilometers of distance, which is perfect for most people's daily, as you drive from home to office. And then if you have another charger at the office, you charge it up and then you go home, and then you practically use a lot less fuel. Now in Malaysia, this may not seem like a lot of sense because of our fuel prices, but nevertheless, if you are someone who has a charger at home and a charger in office, the chances of you relying on petrol, visits to the petrol station, gives a sense of liberation in a way. Sorry for that. So it feels nice and liberating that you're not reliant, especially if something goes wrong and then your local petrol station just runs out of fuel and all that. All right, but if you stay in a condo, you need to discuss with your management on how do you get a charger. Some condos would have 3 or 4 chargers installed at a common area, but I always felt that is a problem. That creates another problem. You put 3 chargers, the 4th person who don't get to charge will complain. All right, that's always the case. Anyway, let's look up here. These are, the like assemblies. They light up gradually, they fade off gradually. Classy. This is something that you don't get in other premium cars in Malaysia. This is the SOS function for BMWs. You press it, someone will come to your aid. All right, and they already know your location and all that, which is really good, really good. And BMW also have the concierge service, the BMW concierge. That is something that also you can use, of course, with a charge. You need to pay an annual charge, but basically using that, a real person will talk to you. You can ask them any question. I mean, when you're in a traffic jam, you can just ask them, what's the circumference of the earth? What is the best Italian restaurant around me? And then they'll help you get a booking and all that, which again, only BMW has that. Very, very good. No difference here. I run my fingers across, you will see a row on top. This has been more than 10 years that BMW has done this on their infotainment system. All right, you can customize the buttons. What do they do? Jump to a radio channel, or you want a different function access, you can always customize it. And then here you still have a lot of physical buttons for the aircon panel, and then they have little LCD here with some indented surfacing here, so it's touch sensitive, but then there's also a concave surfacing here that allows you to touch it, change stuffs. All right, basically the knobs and all that, they all feel great. Okay, everything is substantial. It's a hybrid, so you don't get to choose whether you want start stop or not, right? It comes by default. And BMW used to have the door lock and unlock button in the middle. Now it is this one click button that turns on all safety features, or one button to turn off all safety features. All right, so it's over here, but at least they put the door lock and unlock buttons on both sides of the front doors, which is good, if they remove it from the center, because last time it's in the middle and you don't need an extra set over there. Down here you have the same nice material that matches the inlays, and then here you have this little lid that blends into the design of this housing, and then this one allows you to push it to reveal cup holders and then a wireless charger. But a wireless charger couldn't fit my Samsung Note 10, which is a bit interesting. It is just that little bit too small to slot in my Samsung Note 10. I think they ought to make it bigger, because this is just weird. And the cup holders, they don't have an opening in the middle, so you can't put your stuff. It's strictly for cans, and it's only that deep, right? So it's not very deep. And if you put the Coca-Cola cans, it's all right. But if you have like Starbucks venti and all that, right, it just wouldn't sit properly because it's small and it's shallow. All right, and opening this lid, it only serves that function. So this is a bit limited to how they execute it. If they molded this part to blend down here directly here as well, that would have created a large compartment over here. And of course, this is the famous, BMW electronic gear lever, they were the pioneers. They started this first. And actually, a lot of in-car tech these days are started by BMW. Infotainment system, started by BMW. Electronic shifters, started by BMW. A lot of other stuffs that were popularized by BMW. Start-stop system, brake energy recuperation, all these are by BMW, right? Now, in this context, in this modern day, the pursuit to free up more and more space on the center console has resulted in, like button type of gear lever, because people seldom interact with this apart from parking, reversing, and all that, right? But it is a touch point nonetheless. It is something that impresses you when you got up the car. The first thing you hold is your steering wheel. How it feels in your hand is very important to sell a car. And then the gear lever as well, and it has to be something that showcases the design really well. That's the Idrive controller. On top here, you can write stuffs. Basically, you can jump to A, B, and all that to jump in between names. But I guess people now use voice control more often, and of course with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and all that, everything just goes a little bit easier. Now, the infotainment system that BMW has, they have updated it. Now I think we're in Idrive 7, or was it 8 already? In the touchscreen era, I kind of felt that BMW is no longer the easiest to operate. Back then they were, by controlling it with the dial, but now with touchscreen, with direct one-click access, right? I just kind of felt that the menu systems of how BMW structured their menus needs to be overhauled. It needs a very thorough overhauling, because they are still trying to group stuffs into... Okay, I'll explain again. Back then, you only have a click wheel to scroll between a few major options, and they try to group everything in. But as cars have more and more features, more and more stuffs integrated into the car, there are just so many of them that it's very difficult to decide which one belongs to where. Does it belong to car settings, or does it belong to media? Does it belong to navigation? And you just come in here and then you see there's driver's information. Okay, you click in, and then there's the energy flow, driving style analysis, sport displays, journey data. And then you go back, and then you go vehicle status, and then you're like, okay, so just now that one isn't vehicle status, all right? And then you go down there and plan, charge, climate. What do you mean plan, charging, preconditioning, right? You need to study a little bit more. And then there's settings, and then you're like, okay, what does that mean? So yeah, and then you have settings, and it's like, aren't we in settings just now? I thought we were configuring something. So it ends up where certain stuff that they group out. When you click in, there's only like 3 things to choose from, and it's no longer that easy to figure out what goes where, what goes what. Seriously, all right. I think Volvo's approach of grouping things that looks like app, because in the touchscreen environment, you can access things immediately. You can just swipe them and go to a different menu. So Volvo puts the most often things that use out here, just like this one: navigation, your audio, your radio or entertainment, and then you can have another menu that is you're controlling your aircon or whatnot, right? And all you need to do is just to swipe right, and then every single thing is in one app for you to operate, which is something that BMW really needs to rethink. And again, as you see the center screen growing and growing and growing in size, where does that end? Because it is still using the tablet type of installation where it sits here. Is it gonna just keep growing, you know, horizontally? Ultimately, it will become the scenario whereby, just like Mercedes, one giant screen across, or they're gonna go Volvo style, a portrait screen, and then with the aircon vents on the side. So that remains to be seen. Okay, glove box, lovely, large, covered in felt, good build quality. Down here you have a small little armrest compartment here, USB-C port, and nothing else. Quite an elaborate mechanism to go into what is just a small compartment. It doesn't slide, it doesn't lift, but then it's alright. It's comfortable. Alright. These days, less and less people need an armrest to hold the gear lever, right? We need an armrest that holds our hands when we're holding the steering wheel. So again, these are things that we need to rethink in modern cars. Alright, let's go to the rear. Oh, sort of miss out this little compartment over here. Alright, it's good for your smart tags, some stuff. Ought to do some improvements on the mechanism. It's a bit loud, huh? Alright, let's come to the back. Comfortable seats, full length bench. I am 5'11". This is the base of my knee, and this is just really comfortable. There are two USB-C ports down here. There's a little compartment here for you to put stuffs. There's a 12-volt socket over here. You have individual climate control at the back. No, I mean separate from the front. You have some very nice door back pockets, you know, nice substantial feeling. I don't understand why Audi still have the net type in the new A6 and A7. I just don't understand that. That's just cheap. Alright, you have aircon vents on the B pillars, which I think every car should do, because this one just blows at the middle passengers nether areas. But then BMW ones, you can actually angle them really high up. Makes sense. So it's good for cars to have aircon blower here and on the B pillar. Right, on the Volvos, they are a bit higher where you need them. This is slightly lower, but that's just not too big of a complaint over there. All right, the doors open wide, so ingress and egress is very easy. You don't see any of this, you know, protruding from the surface of the seat. That means going in and out, you won't be blocked by anything here. Okay, door pockets can be full length, you know, and a bit more spacious. That would be really nice, at least to be able to put an iPad, you know. They don't need these extensive moldings. If this part is slanted, just like how Audi does it, and this part is indented in a way, you can put a large bottle. In this manner, you can only put a small bottle. You can't put a large bottle. Place it sideways, you know, slanted with it parallel to the door handle. Audi makes it the best door pocket, basically. And inside is covered in carpet, just a little bit, whereas the S90 has the full door bin covered in leather and carpet. All right. So that's the rear seats. It's a little bit upright, but it's all right. And here we have the cup holders, and there's no storage space here. It's just a rather elaborate cup holder, you know. Plenty of mechanisms for doing cup holder things. All right, so this car is comfortable, it's fast, it is spacious, and still one of the best to drive, one of the best to be in. Yeah, comfy, nice. And of course you get the blinds over here and here, extra touch, very thoughtful. All right, let's go to the boot. Powered boot as expected. Now the new hybrids, they don't have a bulge that takes up your boot space, but again, it is slightly shallower but then you get a hidden compartment over here, which is good. You get another hidden compartment over there, which is alright, and you can still put large luggages, but it cannot be compared in any way to those cavernous huge Accord or Camry boots. Alright, so be mindful if you have a 530e, 2 passengers coming back KLIA from their 1-month holiday in Europe, they each have a huge luggage bag. You might only be able to fit one. Okay? Yep. Hear that sound? Hilarious. Cheers, guys. Once again, thanks to Once again, thanks to Sime Darby Properties KLGCC Resort. This is the International Gallery where you can come here to look at the entire township. So they are turning this golf club, alright, with the land, with the surrounding land that they own, into a golf resort residence mixed development. Okay, and their first property, Sanada Residences, which is a fully furnished smaller property for investment purposes, is done and almost sold out. And then this is living at KLGCC. And then the new one, which is Jandela Residences, which is a really nice development seated inside the golf course with no other tall buildings surrounding you. You get a beautiful view out into the golf course or facing Taman Tun, which none of it is bad at all. And both are available now. Again, I have to tell you all, just to remind you all, myself and 2 of my colleagues bought Jandela Residences. Yeah, because we think it is a great project. It is a great project at great value. Alright. The property starts from 1,300 square foot, and they start from 1,300 square feet and they go all the way up to almost 2,700, but the bigger units are all sold out. And there are units where you can buy 2 units left and right, and then they can open up the middle for you. So it creates a 2,600 square feet unit or 3,000 square feet unit with 2 individual separate titles. So 2 individual separate titles allows both to qualify for HOC. Alright, so there's a lot. Do check it out at Jandela Residences. And that's the end of my review. Cheers, guys.
God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I